Hi, lovely.
Oh, Miss Rosacotto, how are you, my lovely one?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I'm better than last night. I
Yeah?
had a real, total transparency here, just dealing with a lot of hormonal BS. And I feel like, yeah, just stuff I haven't really dealt with before in my life. Necessarily won't go into many, many details here, but it's like I'm like Jekyll and Hyde. Just put it that way. With my anxiety, too. It's like, it's either like completely exploded, like a freaking chip bag has exploded.
What kind of chip?
What kind of chips? Good question. I'm a sucker for barbecue chips. I'm one of those weird people that likes barbecue chips.
Hmm.
And I'm also one of those weird people that doesn't like salt and vinegar. A
I'm
lot
not a big
of
fan of
people,
salt and vinegar.
okay, I feel like salt and vinegar chips are like a fan favorite, but
Yeah, they are. I think people are freaks for loving it, but I'm not judging them at all.
dude, my mouth just doesn't really want to eat all that vinegar
No.
ness in the upper palate of my mouth and blech. Yeah, I don't know. Not my thing.
Mhm. Okay. Jeez, I'm sorry that you've been having these experiences, and I mean, of course, we talk every day, but it's
I know.
frustrating when we have these moments. And even yesterday, I my brain was literally not there. I mean, my head was on my neck, but literally the head should have just been severed and cut, and I should have just been running with my head off my neck because I was just so like, nope, not today. Mm-mm.
No, you
Nope.
were a helium balloon that was up in the clouds. That was your.
Absolutely. I couldn't remember numbers, sequences, patterns. I might as well have just been a noun.
Well, you say that, although, and this is also a loss of transparency here, we're actually recording this. I'm just going to say this. We're recording this intro for the lovely, I'm going to call her Miss Mary Lou, Chef Mary Lou Davis, the day after well, we actually talked to her because we kind of, Hero and I kind of effed up the intro. Let's just say that we know some things about Hell's Kitchen season 19 that we weren't supposed to talk about. So
Yeah.
we cut that stuff out. So now we're gonna introduce her in this little segment the day after actually talking to her.
Yes.
So why did I don't even know why that segue came to me, but who knows?
No, that's great. But from, potato chips and mental health to our lovely chef, Mary Lou Davis, who is our guest for this episode. She is an incredible personality and as authentic as they come. And I wanted to reach out to her from seeing her on Hell's Kitchen and just had a really, I just felt a really great connection to what I noticed. And I wanted to see who she was and take again, as we say, take the mask off of what is portrayed and to actually understand who the person is, not what they do or what they have done.
Yep.
But and this conversation that is to follow with Mary Lou is something that I think I will really remember for a long time. And I don't know what you want to contribute, but I am still smiling
Oh,
from that dialogue.
100%. And she did not disappoint. You know, she, for those of you that are about to embark on the journey that is Hell's Kitchen season 19, which is, I think, airing January 7th, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, she's one to watch. Let's just say that. She's phenomenal. And what I mean is that she does not disappoint, is that she is exactly herself. Like and it's beautiful to see and beautiful to be a part of because it was an easy conversation with us. It was um, like just so comfortable. She was so humble
Hmm.
and just very open and bright, and it was just fantastic. So she yeah, and so just maybe a little bit more about Mary Lou. So Mary Lou, well, she'll explain this in the episode as well, but she lives in Texas, in San Antonio.
Hmm.
And she didn't always necessarily want to be a chef, but she's been a chef for how many years? I don't even know if I did the math.
We didn't actually ask her how long
Yeah.
she'd been doing cooking for, but it was later on. And she talks about what inspired her to actually embark on a professional education in the culinary arts and food,
Yes.
as well as how she combines it with her current platform on YouTube, which is under Geeks and Grubs, which is
Yeah.
such a great combination and very unique. And it's a
Oh
pure
yeah.
reflection of who she is, which is super cool.
Yes, and we do talk about how it's cool to be geeky, and you know, we're kind of just a bunch of misfit toys, so to speak. And I think she was almost like that other misfit, beautiful misfit toy that kind of just joined our tribe, so to speak. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was lovely. And and then with that being said, Geeks and Grubs, the reason why it's called Geeks and Grubs is because she's really into cosplay as well, which is really cool. So in our show notes, we'll put all the information of how you can connect with Mary Lou on all her socials and of course her YouTube channel, and have fun watching season 19.
Yeah, have an awesome time. I gotta be honest, it's one of the best seasons of Hell's Kitchen that I have been able to experience and to understand. And I'm so excited for everyone to experience that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And just so we plug ourselves, please don't forget to also subscribe to our channel, just so we can continue bringing content such as this. And also on Instagram, we are getting_Jewcy, Jewcy. And on Facebook, it's at Getting Jewcy, no underscore. So yeah, two slightly different things there. And watch out for a new website coming 2021 as well. So yeah.
Yeah, we are getting very official, and we're excited to also have our website, as Rachel said. And we also have a Canadian artist creating our logo and cover art. So we're excited to have that as part of our branding on all of our social channels and website. And then we are able to start reaching out and doing more marketing to help kind of create the community even broader than it might have already been. And as I said in our last episode, for those that did tune in the entire time with Jonas Altman, thank you so much for all of your support and your recognition. You know, we're just really two humble, authentic, crazy Jewish folks from Canada that want to make a difference and really pull the mask off of what people think others are. And we want to understand who they are and just have real dialogue with them, regardless if it's pertaining to how they are currently known or not. So please reach out to us if you have any questions. If you want to connect with us, even be on the show, reach out, say hello. We would love to hear from you in any spectrum. Anything,
agreed.
anything goes.
Agreed. Absolutely. So without further ado, goodness gracious, I just had dinner. It's not like I'm hungry or thirsty or I don't know where that even came from. Without further ado, Chef, wait, that almost rhymes. Without further ado, Chef
Mary Lou. Woo! With two of her favorite Jews. Well, now that she's met us.
Enjoy. Look at.
Oh my god, hi!
Hi!
How are you? Oh my god, it's you.
I'm sorry, I got so mixed up. I was so confused.
Oh my god, Mary Lou, don't worry about it. It's totally okay. I was falling asleep because I was like, oh my god, it's dark here and I just got off work. Can we just talk earlier? And this is like perfect.
This works out for me because then my friend's over and I was like, PST, is that in 5 minutes? And he goes, no, that's in like 2 hours. And I said, I was like, I got really mixed up.
And not only did you think damn, but your toque said, damn!
So I'm like, damn, Benny. I'll bring milk.
You look absolutely radiant. I'm not just saying that. As I said before you came on, you are one of the people that I just saw in life and in this last little while that radiates authenticity, sincerity, and it's just a real human being. And I was like, I need to know who this person is off of Hell's Kitchen, who they are in real life. And then if it relates to Hell's Kitchen, then great. But I want to know how you are, about where you came from, and just who is Mary Lou, you know? Like, how are you doing?
That's so sweet.
And it's nice to meet you. I'm Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Nice to meet you. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm glad we made it.
It's all good. Because I didn't even think to ask, because I'm like, wait a second, where is she? So where are you?
I'm in Texas.
Oh, Texas. Okay, there you go.
There you go. And of course, I don't know why we were thinking, oh, she must be in LA or something like that, which is just such a stupid assumption.
I feel like when you think of like the United States, you're always thinking of like New York, Florida, California. That's it. That's all I think about.
Right. It's okay. Exactly. I've actually been to Houston, by the way, which is kind of random because it's super far away from where we are. But where are you?
I'm in San Antonio. I'm approximately 3 hours away from Megan Thee Stallion. So
okay.
Oh, amazing. Love it. Love it. So we just gave a little introduction about you. And I was, again, as usually, like gagging in a good way. Because I was saying that I'm a reality TV addict since like 2000, like since I was 8 years old. Like I'm 28 now. So like since I was a kid. And so Hell's Kitchen, which I want to talk about later because it's not just about that. But that came on pretty around the same time as then. So then seeing through the years as, being a huge fan of Gordon Ramsay and, did like school presentations on him and all that stuff. And then seeing like Hell's Kitchen and seeing you, I was like, okay, there's a lot of incredible people that have been on Hell's Kitchen. However, Mary Lou Davis is someone that I want to be like best friends with. And if I can't be best friends with her, then at least we can at least talk to her and learn about who she is. And Rachel is also not as much of a reality show watcher, but she loves food reality shows. So when I actually said, oh my God, like Mary Lou said hello, and she's like, shut up. She was like,
it is funny because like the only reality shows I watch are Hell's Kitchen and An Amazing Race, and that's it. So I don't know. It's just the way I grew up with like musical theater parents and actors, and like they're like all into the real stuff. Like so, but I love and exactly what Hiiro was saying. I mean, just to have someone, and especially seeing you now with your YouTube channel, the cosplay stuff you're doing, and just being authentically you.
All I can be.
It's true, but
that's the point. But so many people aren't, though.
Yeah,
I know. I feel like I stand out so much just because I'm true to myself. It's just the way that my mom had always raised me. And she's like, you know what? If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Like when I was little, everybody else, when they were growing up, was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you want to be the president, or you want to be a lawyer, or you want to be a ballerina. And my mom's like, what do you want to be? And I was like, I want to be a vampire.
Yes!
All right, that's interesting. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a vampire. That sounds great.
Yes, Queen, absolutely.
Is that where your love of cosplaying came from? Like from a very young age of dressing up and
like I didn't even realize that I was cosplaying. So I go to this Renaissance fair in Houston like every year, and I've been going since I was 16. And I used to love to like dress up for it. And then after that, I became an RA in college. And when we would do our on-calls where I wasn't allowed to leave the building, I would dress up like different celebrities because I can't go anywhere.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
After that, I was like, this is fun. And then I think somebody had seen one of my pictures from the fair, and they're like, you cosplay? And I said, what is that? And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, what do you mean? And then after that, they showed me all bunch of pictures. I was like, I love this. This is a thing.
Yes.
This is a hobby, and I could do this.
Yes, absolutely. And were you a gamer as well, or did it come from that sense of crossing into expressing yourself through portrayal of different characters or different fantasy? Like where are you on the spectrum?
I'm not a big gamer. I really would like to get more into it. I just can't find the time. It's like, how do I watch all my shows and do all my games? I feel like I don't have a really good balance.
It's called doing both at the same time. I have my phone, my Nintendo Switch, and my laptop. I'm working at 3 screens all at the same time in my bed. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah. That's when you end up texting me in the middle of the freaking night.
Yep.
He's not sleeping because he's doing so many things.
Yep. I'm a product of the early 90s, so... I love it. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I don't usually get starstruck. We're just human beings. I get that. But it's like when you love someone and you just know how real they are and they're like right.
Oh God, Hiiro, you're so.
Oh gosh, stop
it. Okay. All right. So
turn red from blushing.
Oh, I could use a good facelift. So that's good. So Mary Lou, let's just hop right in. Tell us about who you, well, you kind of showed us about who you were, but like, did you grow up in San Antonio, Texas? Is that where you?
I didn't. It's a yes and a no type of answer. So I'm from Logansport, Indiana, very small town. We're like the middle school, the high school, the elementary school is all named after the city. So very small town. And then when I was young, my mom took me out, and it was just my mother and I, and we moved to Texas. But every summer, my mother would make me go back to Indiana. And I'm talking about school is over like May 21st. May 22nd, I am back in Indiana. And then I would come back the day before school would start. So I think it's like because I was moving back and forth so much, and every time I would come back, we would move to like a different neighborhood. So it's just me constantly having to readapt and talk to people. And I just became very outgoing because if you don't talk to anybody, you're just not going to make any friends.
Right, exactly. Well, you do very well in Vancouver because no one talks to anybody unless if you initiate them. So you'd be perfect.
Everybody, I'm like, oh, I'm that person over your shoulder while you're shopping. What's that?
Yes.
That's why I moved to a smaller town, because I was just so sick of people being rude and like stuck up. And I think that's what you get from bigger cities, though. You just don't really get that personable kind of, in the grocery store. Does that apple look better to you? Like,
Actually, random person. I'm from the South, so we're very hospitable.
Yes, which is great. And it shines through in the charisma and the spirit, And again, and I noticed that as well, because again, keep in mind, the reason why we want to have you on the show is you want to know who you are behind, like away from the mask, because we have this idea of who someone is. And even if they're portrayed in that way, we have no clue if that's actually the way they represent themselves, right? Mm-hmm. And so as you're talking about, like, you grew up in Indiana and now you live in Texas. And then I can imagine, like, what was it like for you going through that many transitions back and forth? And then how did that affect you in your social relationships with people? Did it affect you? Did it not?
I want to say that it did affect me. I just can't tell you what it did. I was just so used to it. It's like we'd go somewhere, I'd be somewhere for maybe a year, and then my mom would up and move somewhere else. I had a lot of people asking me, are my parents in the military? And I was like, nah, it's just my mom. She just keeps moving. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So I think it really helped me able to like adjust and to talk to people. I always feel like one of my strengths is I can make people feel very comfortable around me very quickly. Yeah. Just because I'm genuine and I talk to you. I don't really have much to hide.
Neither do we.
Not for me.
That's like kind of the whole platform behind our podcast too, is hopefully making people feel comfortable enough that they're, not hiding behind anything. And also what Hiiro was saying before, like not just knowing kind of what you're about. Because reality television, from my understanding, is not necessarily reality television. Like it's still scripted. There's still like something, not necessarily super authentic about it. I don't know if that's necessarily the truth, but I didn't really want to talk about Hell's Kitchen quite yet. But do you feel, just because you're talking about, yourself and kind of your own, I'm using this word about a million times, authenticity, but do you feel like you were represented properly on the show? Or
I feel like I was represented properly on the show.
Yeah.
I was reading a lot of the like Reddit comments, and I joined one of the Discord groups because I wanted to see what was going on. Because like you, I never really watched a lot of reality television. Like I didn't even watch Hell's Kitchen before I had gotten on it. I think I saw one episode, and then he was yelling at people, and I was like, anxiety. I can't. I don't want to watch this. Yeah, I would watch, like Love and Hip Hop, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna throw a drink in somebody's face eventually. Like I'm that type of person. I don't throw drinks, but like I lived through that. It's like, ooh, she took her shoe off. Let's say,
yes.
But it's like I get there, and while you're there, I forgot that I was on a show. I forgot there were cameras. All I was focused on is like Chef Christina said, all you need to do is make sure that you wake up here every day. And that was it. I didn't remember any prize. I went on that show to prove to myself that I'm as good as my mom thinks that I am. Because my confidence was like low. It was at the very bottom. Like when you watch it, I don't know. Have you guys seen it yet? Because it's not airing in the entire.
Okay, this is what we were going to talk about. Oh my God.
Yeah, because I can only say so much because it's not airing in the States yet.
Okay, so this is what I was so confused about, because we were asking about this. So Rachel, we have to cut some stuff.
And by the way, Mary Lou, you can swear on this podcast. I know you like to swear sometimes, and like you can.
I do.
Yeah, like let it all out. We are literally. I'm such a trucker. Seriously, like get anything goes.
See what the fuck? Because why? What's going on with that? How come people have seen it or not seen it, or are they doing it differently this year because of COVID?
Because we got it in Canada, 100%. So I've seen the whole series.
Oh,
I knew about your background and stuff.
Oh, I was
that's why I messaged you and I said, "Oh my God!" Like that's why I was so like, "Oh my God, I love you."
Are you pointing at him? No, because like a lot of people here have watched it only because it's been on YouTube. So I just assume that other people have watched it on YouTube, but I know it's aired in select countries. So what I'm hearing through the grapevine, because a lot of the producer stuff won't answer my questions, but also I didn't really ask them. I wait until all my Hell's Kitchen friends, they'll tell us stuff. They're like, hey, I heard this and I heard that. And I'm like, all right, that's good. Mm-hmm. But because of COVID, so it was supposed to air in March, but because of that's right when everything had happened, they pushed it back a whole year. Mm-hmm. But the other countries that had already had contracts for when they were going to air it just kept their original air date instead of pushing it back as well.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, so to not get you in trouble.
Please don't.
No, we will not. So what we recorded previously, we'll cut that stuff out because we just won't. So we won't get you in trouble.
Like, we can always do another interview after it all airs.
Yes, yeah, but like, no, I mean, that's true. Or so you must be super stoked then for it to actually.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because we filmed it in 2019. And so I left my job. It was only 3 weeks. Like, we did everything every single day except for Sundays. On Sundays, we would just sit in a hotel room by ourselves. No internet, no TV, no phone.
You're on ice.
Yes, exactly. That's like the terminology they had used as well. They're like, ice. And I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What is this, man? Stop talking? Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Unless if you're Mike, you can't say a thing.
Yes, and one of the girls, Corey, like the way we were always positioned, so I'm always in the front because I'm short, but Corey was always behind me.
That's
she
right.
would always say things into my microphone, and they're like, Mary Lou, it's her. Every time. She's like, sorry, man. You're not sorry, you keep doing it. But we were on ice, like we weren't allowed to say anything, and we were just sequestered and secluded into our room.
Yeah.
Man, those 24 hours were great by myself. I was like, this is nice.
Well, it just gives you that time to just reset, right? And I think part of it is also for production to recalibrate, to understand. And so people actually, the set has a break. You guys don't have a break because they want your brain to go in a certain direction. But it's like, it's the crew's break though, right? Mm-hmm. So, and were you in Caesar's Palace or did they put you in a different location?
No, they put us in Bally's because I guess that's where all of the stuff happens. But when I first got off the plane, we were in Bally's for 3 days before we actually started filming. And then every Sunday we would end up back at Bally's, which I found out is actually haunted. So I was terrified.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really? Interesting.
I like that stuff.
It's like they tell you you're driving away from it and they're like, yeah, you didn't hear any strange things at night? And I was like, I just assumed, we're in a hotel. There's people above and below me. They're like, oh, because you know the story of this place, right? I'm like, oh my God, don't tell me the story. Tell me the story.
Yeah.
An old hotel that had like burnt down and then they like rebuilt on top of it. And I was like,
oh my God.
Oh,
that's crazy. I've been in it too. I was with my ex-boyfriend a couple years ago in Vegas, and we went through all the hotels on the strip, and I was in about Bally's, and it would look beautiful. So I didn't get a haunted feeling, but I wasn't in the room, so that might be slightly different.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So okay. So then, but realizing or thinking you want to be a vampire, where did wanting to become a chef come into play?
Oh, that was way later. It was after the assassin and the escort, and then eventually I made it over to chef.
Awesome!
I love that. Okay, let's backstep to the assassin part.
Oh, I want to go exactly.
I think I was just like attracted to like strong, empowered women, and I was like, "Yeah, vampire's great. She does whatever she wants. She's traveling. Now you get to wear fun outfits." And then there's the same thing with an assassin. I think I just wanted a party lifestyle. Now I think about it, because them dressed up, backflipping, going to parties, and then the escort would go to parties and dress up. But then I figured out, I watched a lot of Law and Order, and I realized I don't want to be an escort. No.
Oh, hells no! You get killed right away, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And girl, your brows and lashes are too pretty to be killed right away. Can I get it?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for noticing.
I'm such a white Jewish Canadian, but I can't believe I could just turn it on like that.
Yeah. One of the first messages that I got when it aired in Australia, first message goes, "Hi Mary Lou, I'm a really big fan. Can you tell me what you use to turn your eyebrows purple?" And I was like, nice.
Yes.
Awesome.
Right? Because that's real, genuine connection.
I was like, I will tell you. It's not a secret. And I like screenshotted a palette and I sent it to her. I'm like, that color right there.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Was it a male that messaged you or a female?
No, it was a girl.
Sure? Oh, okay.
It was a lady.
Okay.
Like, I love it.
I love that. I love that. When the gender doesn't matter, I'm like, oh, is it a drag queen? Do they want to be Mary Lou in drag? Like, that's where my train of thought was going through.
Oh my gosh. One of my goals for life is to be on RuPaul's Drag Race, please.
Seriously, right? Well, you know what though? Okay, I gotta say this, and it's just because this is how my brain thinks. If I was to have a drag persona, I guess it could be I could be Harry Jew.
Hero is making up names for all. I mean, oh my God, you could go on forever and ever and ever and ever. But it's funny that you say that about wanting to be wanting to be in drag, like actually dressing up like that. Because I've often thought about that as well. Like for Halloween, like I thought, is that like inappropriate though for a woman to do it? Is it like I don't want to be rude or what's that?
But I feel like it's flattery. It's like I love what you're doing so much that I want to do it and I want to emulate it. And of course, you take your pictures, you share it, and you tag them, let them know like you inspired me to do this. I just love what you're doing. I learned how to like put on my makeup because of drag queens and YouTube, and I was like, oh, really? That color? Oh,
Yes.
oh, you're right. I just don't do it as harsh.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, because you're not trying to make a caricature of yourself. You're trying to be complimentary to what you have been given by your genetic code, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so with cooking and with food, could you pinpoint certain parts of your life where food made an impact and that gave you that not to sound too technical, but that amygdala, that like nervous system response? You're like, this is a memory that my taste buds have. This is the memory that goes to my heart, that goes to my brain and my soul. And I want to do this because I know how it makes me feel. And you want to provide that for other people. Like what's the root of that memory for you, that story?
Actually, it's my father. So my biological dad, he's really not in my life, but one of the memories that I have of him is when my mother would send me back to Indiana because he was there. She didn't send me with him. She just sent me back there and he was there. And he was going to culinary school and we were making bow tie pasta together.
Wow.
And it was just one of the best experiences of my life. And it was just homemade bow tie pasta. And then we just had it with butter and Parmesan cheese. And I loved every second of it. And he would take me fishing and we would scale the fish and then we would deep fry it. And I was like, this is great. Can we do this again?
Yes.
That is so amazing. So
Yes.
that's awesome. So he was a huge influence. But you went to cooking school as well, correct?
I did. So my father actually just finished. I only know this because he's on Facebook. He just finished culinary school maybe last year because he had dropped out and then he got back into it. So he just finished last year, but I did go to culinary school. I went to the Culinary Institute of America.
Awesome.
Amazing. Because that's what I was going to ask. And again, it's a sticky situation because you don't know the other side of someone. But I can understand the relationship with your mother just because I've seen that idea. But I wasn't sure if your father was part of that. And, two halves make a whole. And so the fact that that's part of that route for you to get interested in culinary arts, to get interested in sharing your love and expression through food and beverage, I think that's something that's really important, and do you have a current relationship with your father at all? Because I know you said you only know from Facebook. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a relationship with him, but like my aunts from his side, I talk to them pretty regularly. So they let him know what I'm doing. They'll let me know if he's doing anything. So there's no hard feelings about it between us or anything. I still feel like we're one family.
And what about Mama? So can you tell us more about your mom? I'm a total mama's boy. My mom's my best friend.
I'm surprised that you haven't seen like my mom in most of my stories. Like everybody knows Mama Mary. I'm a junior, so I'm named after my mother.
Oh, I love that.
Not either. I'm looking at your profile now.
It's usually that's because you're on my Geeks and Grubs one. My original one is coffee and concealer.
That's
so
why.
Usually mom's up in there, especially because when I was living with her at the time, she was in like all of my videos. My mom comes to my job every Monday, so she'll be there tomorrow. And she sits down and she'll eat lunch and I'll put my laptop next to her and I'll type things and we'll just talk. And when things get real hectic, I leave and come back and everybody at the restaurant knows her. So if I'm not there and she shows up, she won't. But if she did, everybody would have her. They're like, Mary, Mama Mary. Everybody knows.
Oh my God.
So cute.
I love it.
My mother is my best friend. She's my inspiration.
Mine too, actually. We all three have that in common.
I'm such a mama's boy. When you're given love by your parents, but especially by a mother, by that maternal source, that love radiates as you get older, and it helps you put your love into the things you do and how you show up to other people. Like being a good-hearted person is something that you can't. Wholeheartedly. You can be taught, but it's something that you really need to be shown and to be provided to then give back.
Experience it, so you know how to love others.
Well, it sounds like she kind of gave that to you for both people, like for dad and mom. She was there 100% for both sides, I guess.
I never felt like I went without. There's nothing I ever felt like I wanted that I didn't have because my mom was just always there.
That's amazing. Do you have siblings?
That's what I was going to ask.
Oh, we're so good.
I'm my mother's only child, but my mother remarried maybe about like 9 years ago. So I have three step siblings. So one brother and two sisters.
Oh my god,
Awesome.
amazing.
My dad has 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
But
Amazing.
I still tell everybody I'm an only child.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's the dynamic like between your half siblings?
I don't think we're as close as we could be, just because when my mother and my stepfather ended up getting married, I was in college. So I was in college at UNT for 4 years, and then I came back, and then I was in culinary school for another 2 years. So when I was living back at my parents' house, it was last year because I expected, I don't know if I can talk about that. That I expected something to take off faster than what it did. I expected the show to start faster than what it did. There it is. So
Yeah.
I let my expire. And so I lived with my mom for pretty much a year until now it's finally starting to come on. But I've been in my new apartment for about a month. But that year, I got closer with my family, and it was really nice, especially because of COVID and I'd lost my job for a little bit. I finally got to like, interact with my siblings. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you are pretty cool.
So
Absolutely.
how has that been with? So it's so interesting. Just, I mean, as Canadians watching, I'm just going to say it, the shit show in the States.
So America is the world's Florida.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I mean, with that being said, I mean, we don't like know how every single state is doing, but how are you doing in your town?
Myself and my town, we're doing just fine. I know our cases have gone up recently, but it's not to the point where our restaurants have to be shut down.
Right.
We're at 75%. We're still at 75%. Until we get over 15% of the beds that are taking up, then we'll shut down. But we're only at like 9%. It's most of the time because you know how like Texans are. I just say all Texans, but most of the Texans are very stubborn, and it's like, oh, you told me what I can't do? I'm gonna do it anyways now. And it's like, dude, just put your mask on. I want to go out and go to a concert, or I want to fly on a plane, or I want everyone to see the new lipstick that I bought because it's banging.
Yes, queen, absolutely. And that lipstick don't smear on that mask that easily.
Exactly. And I really want to buy a grill, and like no one's gonna see it. So I'm waiting.
Oh my god, totally. I can only
Love
imagine that. And that's good though that because in Vancouver, well, Rachel's in Vernon, and which is about 6 hours north of where I am at. Did I get the direction right?
You don't drive, so no.
I'm not good with directions either. That's what Siri's for.
Right.
She's 6 hours away from where I am.
Like 4 hours away from you, but whatever. Who's counting? That's okay. We actually, it's funny because Hiiro and I actually have. Are you verklempt, Yao? Are you sweating? Are you
I'm scalding. I'm like a red lobster.
No, we actually haven't seen each other in person since. Well, no, wait, a little bit in the summer, briefly, but actually, Mary Lou, Hiiro and I went to our very first. What was it?
Fan Expo. We went to Fan Expo.
Yeah, an expo.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Go this year. I was really excited until it got canceled, but I was really excited to go. How'd you like it?
Oh, we loved it. And also Rachel, for example, Rachel moved to Vernon quite a few years ago, and she came down to visit me, and I think it was August or September. I keep forgetting. It was right before, it was August. Yeah, so August of last year. And her brother this year.
21 yet. Oh my God. Anyway, it's been a long day, as I'm sure you can imagine. This gay is tired. But anyway, so we went to the Fan Expo. She's like, oh my God, like my brother is part of the Fan Expo. And I'm like, doing what? And what did you say he did, Rachel? my brother is now, oh my God, I'm going to age him now on the podcast or whatever. He's 49. He's much older than me, but he was a huge Star Wars fan because he was born during like when the first movies came out. He was a kid, like the original ones, right? So he's a huge Star Wars nerd. He was a huge nerd. Are you a Star Wars fan?
I'm not big into Star Wars.
I'm not either.
I love calling nerds, especially, because I'm a nerd, but it's like my favorite thing. I'm like, you're such a fucking nerd.
Yeah, totally.
But I love weird. I love nerds. I love all that stuff. So anyway, so he dresses, he's like a part of this like club, a very, I don't remember what it's called now, but it's like the 20th Battalion or like some sort of club. And he head to toe, not a stormtrooper, but he's one of the other guys. Anyway, he spent like, I don't know, like $1,000 on the costume, and like he goes, but you know, it's really awesome. They do like charity events, not now, obviously, but for, kids' hospitals and hospices and those kinds of things. And they'll do parades, and like, that's really cool. So anyway, we went to one of those, and that was pretty fun. So, but we didn't.
Funny.
That is so cool. I love that. I went to Dragon Con, I guess the year before last, and a couple of my friends were like decked head to toe with their Star Wars cosplays, and there's just me with the camera. I was like, this is awesome. They're all getting their ready, and they're spinning their swords. I was like, is that full on body paint?
Yes. I know, and I just love seeing all the people that dress up as my favorite video game characters, whether if it's Nintendo, Sony, whatever, and I was like, oh my god, it's a real life freaking Kirby! I want it right now! Like, I want to take it home with me! Oh, it's so funny. Or you get those really big hot ass men that are like, background, and they're like, Dragon Ball Z characters like Goku or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, it's real life Goku! My childhood fantasy is filled! I'm like,
my god, that's hilarious. Well, yeah, because we saw some of those guys with like, they're not even like painted on abs, they're real abs. They're in the paint booth, and they're getting all dolled up, and it's pretty sexy.
There's a lot of people that like work out specifically for cosplay. I really wish that I had that much dedication, but I really enjoyed looking at them.
Oh my god, yes. Oh, it's such an eye treat, and they want us to look at them, so they can't get mad at us.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm gonna touch it. You're not gonna tell me to stop because you did
no. Exactly. And I just love that. So we know that you have a YouTube channel, which is amazing. And we were also wondering what the process was for you to be provided the opportunity to be on Hell's Kitchen. Because we know that you're on Hell's Kitchen, and it's safe, I think, for you to share that if you're willing to share that process.
Yeah, I can talk about it. I just can't tell you how far I made it.
Yes, fair enough.
But how I got on, actually, man, that is a tale. I tell you what. So it was my friend at the time was teaching me about hashtags, and she was like, Mary, you need to step your hashtag game up. And I was like, it's like that? And she goes, yeah, step your hashtag game up. So then I started posting these pictures of myself on Instagram because I had recently got out of a relationship. And I was like, Mary, you can be whoever you want yourself to be. You don't need to let that boy bring you down. I was like, yeah. So then I started posting pictures of myself cooking, and then I started stepping up my hashtag game. And the next thing I know, somebody sent me a message, and it was like, I'm a casting director for Hell's Kitchen. Would you be interested in an interview? And I was like, what? Whoa. This is a game. This is a game. Is this true? And I was like, sure. I was like, let's see how far I can take this. And she's like, okay, well, let's talk on this day at this time. And lo and behold, like, we had our Skype interview, and she said I was one of the first people that they had talked to, but she's like, I really, really like this interview. And I was like, well, thank you. And so I remember I was calling all my friends to tell them what had happened. And I swear to God, it was a don't answer Mary's fucking phone call type of day, because none of my friends answered. And I was like, what is happening? My mom didn't even answer the phone. And I was like, everyone hates me.
Oh, God.
Right.
I was by myself. And then finally, like, everybody calls me back because I made an Instagram post. And I was like, apparently all my friends fucking hate me. And then everybody calls me. And they're like, Mary, are you okay? So I let them all know. And it took off from there. And once it took off from there, then a couple months later, like, can you take pictures of yourself and take a picture of yourself cooking and then shoot a video of yourself on the line. And that's just really uncomfortable for me. I don't like my people at work to like see me, I don't take selfies at work. I don't let them see what I'm doing. I'm like, this is my job. I don't want them to think I'm doing anything else.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, hey, can you take this picture of me over here? And can you get my knife skills, please? And they're like, yeah, I got to. And I submit those. After I submit those, then I went to Florida because I was opening a restaurant in Florida. And I hadn't heard from anybody for like a month, maybe 2 months. And then I just get a message out of the blue. They're like, hey, Mary, can you fly up to California so we can do a face-to-face interview? And I was like, I can't. I'm in Florida right now. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, it's not going to be for like, it's only going to be for 4 days. And I said, I can't. I'm opening up this restaurant. And the day that they want me to fly out is the day that the restaurant actually opens. So I was like, I can't do it. But also, it was like the people that I was working with at the time, I think they just didn't want me to leave. I say like I'm not working with them anymore. I'm still there. Yeah. But I think they just didn't want me to leave because I was like, hey, I have this opportunity to just go interview to be on Hell's Kitchen. And they were just telling me, hey, they could portray you in a really bad light. And I used to have a chef that went on Top Chef and he failed at a challenge and now everybody makes fun of him. And they only want you on that show because they think that you're entertaining.
Right.
And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I got this job because I'm good at this job, right? Not because I'm entertaining. They're like, I just want you to know. And so when they found out that I had called somebody else to see if I could work there because I was just going to quit my job to go for this opportunity, that they gave me their blessing. And they're like, okay, what you do on your day off is your day. So I got 2 days off. I flew in one day. And then the next day I did all of my interviews until like 10 p.m. And then I caught a flight at like 1 a.m. and I got back to Florida at 6 a.m. and then I had to be at work at 8 a.m. And that was a rough day for me.
No kidding, Mary Lou. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I'm team no sleep.
Yeah, but
And
that's the thing though.
Sorry, but like when you got back, did you know you were going to be on the show, or you still didn't know at that point?
I still didn't know. It's like I'm talking. I did like my couple little interviews, but then after that, I had an interview with like maybe it's like 8 or 9 producers, and so they're all sitting there, and I was a little nervous. I'm not used to this, and they're just asking me a bunch of questions. They're like, "Tell me about yourself. Tell me a funny story." They're like, "You just need to be yourself," and then eventually somebody's like, hey, are you more than just a pretty face? And I think that's what like really sparked it for me. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm more than a pretty face. It's like, I'm small, but I'm feisty and I got all this going on. And then they all started laughing after that. And every time I would talk, everybody would just chuckle and they would all like look at each other and smirk. And I was like, I don't know what this means, but I feel like it's good. And then after that, I just didn't hear from anybody for another month.
Yep.
Wow.
And then right after that, I just assumed that I didn't get it since I didn't hear from anybody. And I was like, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. And the woman is like, no, Mary, I'm not allowed to talk to you about this, but everything's fine. Just wait until we make the announcement. And I was like, what announcement? And then the next day I got my email and they're like, you need to leave in 2 weeks to come to Las Vegas. And I was like, 2 weeks? Like, I just came back from Florida. What do I do about my restaurant? So then I had to go and talk to my people. I'm like, hey, so remember when I told you that I was going to audition, be on Hell's Kitchen? I was like, I got it. I got to leave in 2 weeks. So.
Oh,
wow.
My God.
So that's the thing though, because my only experience with being on a reality TV show was the show First Dates, which is in the States and international. They had a Canadian franchise for 2 or 3 years, and I was on the Canadian version of the first season. So this wasn't more than just like a single take, like a couple hour recording. It wasn't like a series, right? But I have some understanding of reality, and I also wanted to be on like Survivor and other shows as well that I've sent applications in for, because my skill set doesn't really fit to any other kind of reality show. I can't sew, I can't cook, but I can talk, and I'm very competitive, and I also have no survival skills. So I'm the perfect like failure task, throw me to the wind to try and be on the frickin' island with Jeff Probst. Anyway, not about me, but my point is that I understand when you're talking about the time between getting information and how long it takes and how many moving parts may go into you being able, but then in the same way, they care about you, but they also don't care in the sense that they expect you to drop everything for
at that moment.
That 15 minutes of fame.
That's what I was thinking. Like, it's so, it's interesting how they feel like, well, anyone's going to want to be on our show. So take it or leave it. It's not like kind of, I don't know, like not that you're dispensable, but almost.
But still, no, it was completely like that. It's like, all right, go now.
Right. They look for people. And it's true though. Like, and I've read this. I've watched tons of candid, open dialogue because contracts have been finished and NDAs have been lifted from top model. Like Jay Manuel talks about all the 18 cycles that he was part of and talked about like all the things and all the privileges, all the other people that I've kind of researched from that show and the people that have come forward from the model contestants and what they had to go through. It's a lot of stuff they look for. And there's always people that they'll place to be winning. They'll be placing people for certain personality types because they know that certain personalities are going to clash, or they'll try to kind of cause a rise. They'll affect the environment of how hot or cold it is. They will do whatever they can to get the brain and the body and the people to be triggered. And not every show is like that, but that's what they do in reality TV. They make your life as much of hell so they get the most rise and entertainment out of you. Whether you submit to it is in your control.
Well, and that's why one of my first questions was if you feel like you were fairly represented. And then Right. And then the other question, I guess, is, but because you just said put you through hell, like, I think everybody always probably asks this question about Gordon Ramsay, but is he actually like an asshole, or is he a sweet man?
In real life, he's a little bit meaner than the way that he talks to the kids on, what is it?
Master Chef.
Junior?
Yeah.
Chef.
Yes.
But he's talking to adults. So there's plenty of times where I was cooking something and then he shows me like, Mary, make it this way. And he shows me how to do it. I'm like, thank you very much. He goes, yeah. But if I choose to mess it up again, you didn't listen. He just doesn't like to repeat himself because his time is important. And I understand that because that's how I am in my kitchen. It's like, Mary, what is this? Didn't I just tell you? I just thought, like, why am I repeating myself? Listen to me. So there are things that you should know how to do. I don't think he's mean. I don't think he's mean at all. But just don't fuck up twice.
Oh, he sounds like a husband, pretty much.
You get like, hey, this is wrong. Fix it. You're like, got it. It's fixed. Here it is. You didn't fix it. Get out. It's like, what?
And so what I'm wondering is that, again, and I don't know, I think this is okay to ask, because when people are on show, like hosts or whatever, you're only with them for that period of time. Like they only show up for a certain period of time on camera. Did you get to spend quality time with Chef as well as Chef Christina and so forth? Did you actually get to spend time with these people, even if you're in front of camera, for more tthan the time that the viewer might see it? Or was it really just a quick blip so that way it shows that they're there the whole time and you guys are just cooking?
No. We, especially during our punishments, like Chef Christina would always be there.
Okay.
So I think one time, like we're breaking down that cow, Chef Christina was there the whole time and we were just cracking jokes and we're talking to her. I got advice from her a bunch of times and I don't think they showed that at all. I kept telling her, I was like, Chef, I just want to be put on garnish. And she's like, how come every time he walks in, you grow 3 feet? And I was like, I just want him to notice me. Can he notice me? I just want him to see me. And she's like, he sees you. And I'm like, how do you know? And she's like, because I talk to him. Oh, you're right.
And she's also, not to be disrespectful to any other winner from Hell's Kitchen, but she's one of the only winners from Hell's Kitchen. And this is on the internet, folks. This is not like private information. She's one of the only winners that's actually been the poster child for that series, that has actually been successful and that hasn't not turned a contract around her, that hasn't had a job taken away that was presented to her. Like, she actually won the series, became part of Gordon's brand, and has become a true representation of who she always was on the show. And it's very rare that you get people like that. Such a role model for me is Christina Wilson, like huge. I just love her to death, even though I don't know who she is as a person. She seems exactly as real as she comes off.
I love that woman to death. And she gave us all a bunch of like advice on what to do, not for like the show wise, but just she's been through it before. So we're all in there for our first time. And I was like, man, I really wish like, we were in our dorms and we didn't really have like the best food. And she's like, just ask for it. And I was like, just ask for it. She's like, whatever you want. She's like, I got them to put a punching bag in for me. I was like, really? She's like, yeah, whatever you want, just ask for it.
Production will give you what you want if it's within reason.
Yeah, except for mint chocolate chip ice cream. You know how many times I asked for that?
That's my favorite ice cream flavor. That's my exact favorite, especially if it's like mint green flavored. Green colored.
I can taste the artificial green. And I'm like,
Yeah, I'm like, fuck the white. I want the green shit.
Yes, I want the green shit. I want to feel the sugar, and I like when the chocolate gets stuck in my teeth because I like.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Oh my god,
that's too funny.
What were some of your?
They wanted.
Totally, and then again, in respect to NDA and all that stuff, can you share any experiences that you had in your time with the production, what you learned about yourself, what you learned about life? I don't leave it ambiguous because I want to be respectful, but can you share from a lens that you are willing to speak from what you took from the experience?
Oh, most definitely. What I learned from this was I can't be who everybody expects me to be. I think that was my flaw at the very beginning because I wanted to give everybody what it is that they wanted. I'm like, you have to be that eloquent chef and you have to make sure that you are plating everything like super small and very tiny and making sure that everything is perfect and it's all 5-star restaurant quality. And that's how you become a really good chef. But it's like all of your food and your flavor comes from your passion. It comes from your soul and it comes from your heart. And later on, I realized I'm like, I'm good enough. I'm good enough just the way that I am. And I like the fact that I'm quirky and I like that I laugh at my own jokes and then I talk to myself because I think I'm hilarious.
You are fucking hilarious.
That's hilarious. I love it.
Once I stopped doing what I thought everybody else wanted me to do or what I saw other people doing, because we're all cooking next to each other, and I was like, should I be doing something like that? Once I stopped, yes. Once I put my blinders on, it's like, Mary, what do you want to do? That's when I started to get a lot better. That's when my confidence was raised. That's when I started to believe in myself a lot more. And that's why I can say that I am true to myself, because it doesn't work when I'm not. It doesn't work at all.
Not for anybody. And you can see it really, really easily through the camera when someone is not being portrayed in a way, and when they're maybe trying to be someone they're not. You can see it.
But it all shines through with what you're doing on your Instagram and your YouTube. Yeah. I feel like Hiiro might have just about to say that, but how long have you had your YouTube channel for now?
I've had my YouTube channel for maybe about 6 months now. Everything happened because of COVID. So it's like I got furloughed. And I had been talking about starting this YouTube channel for a long time, but I work in a kitchen as a chef, so I have no time to do anything.
Yes.
Once I got furloughed, I was like, I suddenly have a bunch of time, and like all my friends were furloughed. So one of my friends, she does like illustrations and graphic design. I was like, hey, can you help me out with this? I need a logo. And she's like, hell yeah, we've been talking about this since college. And then my one friend who helps shoot my cosplay pictures, he's like, I can help you film, and I know like a guy who does videography. And I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yes. Yeah, I got you. And then it all just came together. And it's like, I don't know if you've seen any of these shows, but Miguel, yes. The one who will like walk in.
Yes.
Yeah, it's him all the time. Like he is like my rock right now, to be honest with you. He helps like take care of my social media. He's like, I can do this, Mary, if you want me to. And I was like, I'm really bad at like the little story things. I can post the picture and do the caption, but all the stories and all the other things, I'm like, I'm really bad at that. He's like, I like this. And
it's a lot.
Like, yes, it gets to be so much. I was
become a brand.
Well, it's not
a brand.
It's not only that, but it's like the analytics of it and the algorithms and all this shit.
Yes.
If it's not your thing, it's like it's like going to school again for something, because it's a science, really.
Mm-hmm. And also like with Rachel and I, because this is on the same wavelength, when Rachel said, hey, I want to do a podcast, are you interested? And I said, I've always wanted to have my own talk show and have a public speaking platform, because I'm uncensored as fuck. And no one wants to listen to me in a professional setting. So this is great. As a yoga teacher, you'll know what I mean. But anyways,
unfortunately.
But seriously, we were like, this is perfect. So when you're talking about having an outlet and someone to help you, right? Rachel is great at the technical stuff. She's great at the post-production, at the video editing. And I mean, compared to me, girl, like, great.
Oh, I know.
But for me, my strength is people, connections, relationships, and networking and outreach. And so that's why I reached out to you yourself as being one of those people, because I just thought, you know what? People can pick up authenticity. If they hear the tone of the voice that they are hearing and they know that person is really sincere, whether if they have the time or not, they're at least going to show that they've seen it, heard it, even if they don't comment, but it's going to go through them. They're going to see the truth behind the voice. And that's an example of you knowing that you were going to have an experience where it's like, I just want to know who this real person is. And regardless of what they've done, but who are they? Who is that person?
Exactly. Right? Well, and speaking of that, what does Mary Lou want to do now? Or what are you doing? Like, I mean, I know you've got your YouTube channel, you've got, you're going to gain a shit ton more followers. I know that from when it airs, I think, in the States.
Yeah, we have like less than 2 weeks now.
Yeah. Crazy.
Well, that's like what it is that I want to do right now. Because Miguel had asked me the same thing. He's like, so what's going to happen when the show airs? I was like, I want to focus on like my Geeks and Grubs. Like that's who I am. It's just me being myself. My mom was watching one of the episodes and she's like, I think you curse too much. I was like, Mom, I censor myself entirely. She's like, you say a lot. And I'm like, I call everything a hoe. That's just who I am. And she goes, no, baby, you just be you. I'm just letting you know, but you are who you are. And I'm like, thanks, Mom. But I want more from my Geeks and Grubs. I want to create more content. I want us to eventually get like our own cutting boards, our own aprons. I would like for the show to get picked up and just be better than what it is, but for me to just continue to be myself and to help my friends out as well, because I couldn't do it if they didn't believe in me. Like they wouldn't have helped me if they didn't believe in me. They wouldn't be as into it. Aw, are those your friends? Wait. She's on that side.
I was like, her.
Need a support system, but I want to let them know it's like all of your hard work paid off, guys. Like this is a thing. People like what we're doing. We like what we're doing. I guess all in all, I just want to be happy. I just want to continue to be happy.
Beautiful. And if you keep that as your goal, you will, because it shows. It absolutely shows. And the quality of the video, just I'm tooting the person's horn. It's so good.
It's amazing.
I know, right?
Yeah, like kudos to them. Seriously, we've watched your channel, a few videos. Rachel's watched maybe a few more, but I've seen your channel, I've watched your stuff, and I'm like,
yeah,
yes, this is what I want.
Is that your kitchen?
No, that's Miguel's kitchen. So it's like, so the last episode we shot, but that we haven't aired yet, was the Emperor's New Groove. And so I cosplayed Yzma, and I made spinach cups. And what happens is, because we do little skits in like every episode, just because we like to do skits. It's funny.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the episode, it's like Keanu, who is the one guy who actually films everything. So Miguel takes a lot of the pictures and he does the beginning editing. And then Keanu has like the big, like, actual camera that he like zooms in and does all the fancy stuff with, and he finishes. So he's supposed to like pretend to be Cusco, and he just fires me. And I was like, how are you firing me from my own show? He goes, yeah, fired. And so then the next episode is supposed to start, and I'm in my brand new kitchen that I have right now, where everything is more spread out and I have better lighting. Because a lot of the times over at Miguel's, I'd forget to bring things. Like, I'd write everything down. I'm like, this. It came to the point where I was leaving all of my things there, but I'd forget random things. I'm like, hey, do you have curry powder? And he's like, no. Yeah. Hey, do you have a mallet? And he's like, no. One episode, I just punch everything with my hands. I was like, I got 2 mallets at the end of my fist. And I'm like, I got it. Don't worry.
That's awesome.
I have all my things.
It's so great though, because that's authentic. You just roll with it, and that's what life's about: is taking it as it comes to you and doing what you need to do when it happens.
Yeah, I agree. We don't really rehearse anything. We just go. I was like, all right, guys, I made this in my head, so let's go. And every time I mess up something, they keep it in. I'm like, edit that out, and they're like, yeah, okay. And I watch it, and I'm like, there it is.
Yep.
Well, the secret's out with us too, because we don't. I mean, we prepare a little bit, but we don't there's no notes. I have no notes on my table. Like, there's nothing. We like to just kind of roll.
They're off the cuff, off the dome.
Yeah, that's exactly it though. Because Rachel and I were talking about the fact that, Rachel, I'm happy to do like a show and I wanted to do this, but you know that I'm improv, you know that I'm candid, you know that I'm best when I don't prepare anything. Like, that's just how I roll. If you want to have another damn interview show, then go do it with someone else. Like, I'm not doing this, right? So we are unscripted. We pull the mask off of the ability to really understand who someone is. And it's funny that it's COVID and we're like pulling the mask off, but we pull the mask off of mental health, emotional wellness, spirituality, and then how it relates to those who we are talking to. And it's about who they are, not what they do, but who they are. And then if it relates to what they have done because of who they are, then sure. But I can't stand watching interviews with people, even if they're informative, and not knowing anything about them, or that they are being given questions that they have to answer for that outlet. I'm like, great. Who are they? I want to know who the damn person is. I don't care how famous they are. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they start, and why are they doing who they would? Like, come on.
Yeah, you can't relate to them if you don't know their story. Otherwise, it's just a picture.
Yeah, and it's a fantasy. And again, that idea of reality, or surreality, I should actually say.
You're so fancy. You're so fancy tonight. I feel like I'm brain dead tonight. Like, freaking on it.
You should be surprised, because I tried to get a latte today and I got one for me and my teammate, and I got the one that was decaf by accident. So I'm actually not on any caffeine today. I'm very impressed with myself.
I'm shocked, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So Mary Lou, I know it's a broken record, but I just have to say it. Like, I just feel like I've known you for so long, even though I don't know you at all. But I just feel like from how I've been able to see you, I mean, like, if you and I were in the same city, girl, it would be a whole other story. I'm just saying.
They would not be ready for us. You ain't seen me when I go out to the club.
Oh my God, girl, I would love to. And I could wear my men's heels again. It would be great.
I know it sounds like, okay, first world problems, but I fucking miss live theater. I miss concerts. I miss, now, is any of that stuff going on down in Texas still?
Texas gives no fucks, I swear.
Kind of what I thought. That's kind of what I thought. But everything, we haven't had, no live anything has happened for fucking a year. Nothing.
We have a convention. I think we have Dallas Fan Expo, and it's in 2 weeks. And I was like, I don't think I should go. And my friends are gonna go, but I was like, I don't I feel like it's a bad idea. I've seen so many things on the news that we shouldn't be in large gatherings. I don't think I'm probably not gonna go. I'm just
I
gonna
would
go.
advise from the very peacekeeping and so-called conservative Canadians, I would not go.
I'm not gonna go. I did on my cosplay because I keep telling myself, I'm like, man, it's gonna be a bad idea. You shouldn't do this. But then also my friend Jordan, because Jordan lives in Dallas.
Oh, right.
She's like, Lou, why don't you come up here and we'll watch the second episode together? And then one of her girls, because she works at a bar, she's like, one of our girls wants to get champagne drunk with me. And I was like, I love champagne.
Yes.
I said it a bunch of times on the show. I love champagne.
Amazing. And when you're talking about that as well, in terms of the people that are from the show, and again, I'm going to let you speak from it because it's from your mouth and not from anything because I need to be really mindful of my train of thought. Who have you kept in touch with from the show? Because like the cast is out there. You can go on the website. People know who the cast members are. But like, who have you kept in touch with? I have some ideas in mind, but I'm just curious to know who you kept in touch with. Who are you really like close friends with? And then also on a professional network level from the show, have you kept in touch with like the sous chefs and with Chef Ramsay? Like, I'm curious to know about, are these productions places where it's really what you make of it and those people genuinely care and keep in touch with you? Or it's like, okay, we're on ice, we're off camera, like that's it, we're done. Like, okay, you don't exist anymore. Like, I would be curious to learn more about that if you'd be willing to share about it.
Of course I would. It's a little bit of a mixture. So like Chef Ramsay, for the longest time, he didn't respond to anybody. I think he now follows Lauren on Instagram, and then like all of the Hell's Kitchen group, there's like 3 girls. Oh, also we all have our own WhatsApp group with pretty much everybody, and we all talk. The girls have a separate one. I'm pretty sure the boys have a separate one, but there's all of us minus like Mark and minus Mark and minus Peter, because we had to kick Peter out. He was being rude one day.
No shit. No shit.
Mark was never invited. Like, I have no hard feelings against Mark, but I never really talked to him.
Yeah.
So those 2 aren't in the group, but then we have the one with just the girls, and the girls, we're all really close to each other. I mean, the whole time on the show, I never felt like it was a competition with them. It was more like me battling myself, because we were all very helpful and always trying to get to the next spot, because we're always just telling each other. It's Corey. Of course, it's fucking Corey. So then Corey's like, we're all together, ladies. I'm like, yeah, we're all together. And then later on, she's like, until we get to Black Jackets, and then after that, we're not together. And then, some people make it to the Black Jacket stage, and then we just still kept helping each other.
Yep. Yeah. Which I love, though, because it's so refreshing.
Careful with what you say.
That's how it happens. It's on the preview.
Okay.
Literally the preview, and I was like, are they supposed to show that? And I was like, and I know, because I read it in the Reddit, and they're like, the U.S. gives no fucks about the way that they're doing all of it. That's what they sound like in my head. The U.S. gives no fucks about the way that they're putting this on. And I was like, I'm just happy to be here, guys. I'm just happy.
Okay.
But I still talk to Chef Christina.
Nice. I see she likes a lot of your stuff. She likes a lot of your stuff, which I think is awesome.
I love that woman to death.
Me too, girl.
So I still talk with her, not all the time, but because I know that she's busy. But when it was airing in Europe, she's like, "We're on this episode today," and I'm like, "Ah!" But she wouldn't message me until like 4 a.m. and I was like, "What time is it over there?" So I know that I think she's back now, but when I need advice, she usually answers, or she'll get right back to me. Like I said, the rest of us also talk. I talk with the girls. I actually talk with Amber a lot.
Oh, nice. She seems like the nicest person.
Amber is very nice. So I know that she got a certain edit when it was on the TV, but she did say what she said. But a lot of times what they don't show is like me coming back in, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking, because like I told you a bunch of times, like my confidence was so low, and she was just always picking me up. And she's like, Mary, you just do you. You just do what you got to do. And even now I ask her for advice on things, and she gives me advice. She's very wise. She knows a lot of things. She studied in France, and she over there speaking French and whatnot, catching bitches off guard.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody was ready for that.
No.
That's true. Yeah.
No.
And then the one that everybody wants to know, Cody's got a girlfriend, and it's not me.
I saw that.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Because I figured I'm like, God, everyone's gonna probably want to ask that question.
Everyone's gonna ask that question.
Oh yeah. Like in my YouTube comments, they're like, "Are you and Cody together?" I'm getting like emails, I'm getting DMs, I'm getting messages on my my pictures on both accounts, and like, "Hey, what happened to you and Cody?" And it's like, didn't work out, and He's got himself a girlfriend. We're still friends. Like, if I
Yeah.
need to talk to him about something, I'll talk to him. I think I asked him how to make a chip out of rice and beans before, and he was like, "You could try this." Or I asked
Yeah.
him how to pickle something because he's great at pickling things. So
Yeah.
if I want to talk to him, he's there. But he's
Yeah.
got his girlfriend, and I respect his relationship, so I just leave him alone.
Yeah,
But,
and not in
love
a
it.
but not in a gossiping way. But did you two try to connect with each other and it just didn't feel right, or was he with a partner at the time and that wasn't, of course, that wasn't portrayed?
No, he wasn't with anybody. He was chasing me a lot of the time, and I wouldn't give him the time of day because I was like, "You're just trying to get into my head. That's all this
Right.
is a competition to you." I'm like, and then if I start to like you, then there's one more person that I have to impress, and I was like,
Yeah,
I can't
that's
do
right.
this.
Yep.
And then we would play speed every night in our little dormitories because there was just cards.
Oh.
So the first day I was like, anyone want to play cards with me? And he's like, I'll play. And we would play every time. And whenever like I would get close to winning, he would knock all the cards out of my hand. And I found it hilarious. But even when he would be winning, he would just knock the cards out of my hand randomly. And I'm like, stop doing that. He's like, well, stop laughing at it and I'll stop. I'm like, it's funny.
What a flirt.
Is that how? Okay, sorry. Is that a way for guys to flirt? Because I know guys that flirt with women is different than how guys flirt with men. Like, I wouldn't find that as a flirt if a guy did that to me.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, think about the whole, like, boys in elementary school pulling on your pigtails, like that whole, like, I think it is.
I thought he was definitely like, he was a big flirt. He says that he's just confident. I told him that he was cocky and he was arrogant, and I used to call him douche face. He's got a douche face, but he is very confident and he is very sweet. Like,
Nice.
He was on my side with pretty much everything that we had done, and I didn't realize that I could count on him until our numbers got fewer. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, look, I got somebody on my side. And we would talk. We would just sit on the couch and talk to each other or wherever it was. And he was just funny. And then he seemed very genuine. Because I'm used to guys like hitting on me. And it's like, hey, girl, what's your name? And I'm like, please don't talk to me.
No.
And he just would have a conversation with me. And then he's somebody that I could learn from. But after the show was over, it's just because we were in two different places. I'm back in Texas. He's in California. And it just didn't work out.
Right. And one thing I will say, because it's not about anything about like what happened in the show, I've got to say that this season, in the way the show is portrayed, and I don't know if you've watched previous seasons after now, like being on the show, and if you haven't, that's totally fine too. I kind of actually appreciate that. They changed the editing and the scripting for this season, and it's a much needed facelift to give it that feeling of freshness and modernness to the current day, which is amazing.
Nice. I'm glad that you feel that way. I did have a lot of people, and there were a lot of chefs that came on the show, and they're like, this is like a really good season. This is one of the best seasons. You guys have a really talented cast. And I'm like,
it is one of the best seasons. It's my favorite season of the entire series. I've got to be honest. And I watched all the seasons prior to season 19, just because that's what my reality TV show does to me. Like, I watched all seasons, so I'm really fresh. Your season was the strongest cast and the strongest editing and the most down to earth, because it portrayed Gordon in a way where he was firm. He was sincere. I think he softened a lot over the years of these competitions that he's been around so much. And I've been watching all of his reality shows even like a week ago. All the Hotel Hell, all the Hell's Kitchen, all the Kitchen Nightmares. Like, I love this man so much. It's interesting how much he's adapted and how much he's learned and how that's reflected in your season. I think that's really cool to see.
Well, it's funny here because like I haven't seen all the Hell's Kitchens, but I've seen a few of them, and it's with this one, because I haven't seen it, maybe we shouldn't be talking about it like that. But I feel like it's something, it was familiar, almost like I felt like I had seen it before.
Aww.
And in a really good way, like as in it felt very well put together. So that's interesting.
It was one thing, but I have to add on to that, not to cut you off, because it's related to what you're saying. And Mary Lou, you could probably answer this for me.
Okay.
Before this season, Hell's Kitchen was a set in LA, correct? It wasn't an actual restaurant. It was a set, wasn't it? Because now it's actually in a real restaurant.
I can't answer that question because we filmed everything in Vegas.
Right.
And so I don't know how the other one was, but it was a real kitchen. It was a real restaurant. Like people would come in, and if one of the teams failed, like you didn't eat. The only time Chef Ramsay would finish service, but let's just say hypothetically my team gets kicked out and Chef Ramsay will finish the food for our special guest. Or the blue team gets kicked out and Chef Ramsay and sous chefs will finish for the special guest. But everybody out on the floor, sorry, you didn't get to eat, you gotta leave. Like
Right.
he'd kick everybody out.
Okay.
But I do know that the ordering was catered, that they'd give one table a menu with only these couple things on it, and another table would get a menu with these couple things on it, just so that one station isn't heavy.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think, and again, this is presumptuous of me, but I do think that's one reason why the editing and the flow of your season was so smooth, is because it was a real restaurant in Las Vegas in the prime of the strip. And I think that in LA, or I think he filmed it in LA, I think it was actually a set. So it seemed more fabricated. It seemed a little bit, it was realistic, but that's why the formatting was different, because it's a real restaurant.
I have to ask you, where do you work right now? Can you name the restaurant?
What do you mean? Like leave like how? Like just never come back and tell them like peace easy and dip out? Because I let them know that all the time. I was like, wait for the show comes out. You don't know if I'm going to be here or not. You're going to miss me. And they're like, what does that mean? I'm like, you figure it out. I am the youngest and I'm also the only female executive chef, I believe, in my company.
Holy shit.
Amazing. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. And well-deserved as well, though. I mean, seriously well-deserved. And I mean, I just got to say that, again, Rachel and I couldn't be more thrilled and proud of you and so appreciative of your selflessness and your willingness to chat with two, local, Vancouver local or British Columbian Canadian local Jewish, ish people.
It's because you sent me that voice memo and then the sound of your voice, and I think you laughed at yourself, and I was like, this guy's gonna be fun. I can already feel it.
Thank you.
I was going to bed and I was like, that sounds great. And I was like,
yes. Yeah. Totally. And that's just the power of outreach and the power of the connection of really people understanding where you're coming from, and that it's coming from a really sincere and also with no ulterior motive, just genuinely want to know who the person is and what can we do? Can we do anything to support them? Even if we have a certain platform that might be, but whatever we can do, we want to help.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Of course.
A lot of you guys wanted to talk to me. I was like, me? You want to talk to me?
Hell's yeah. As I said, if you were and I were in the same city, I'd be like, girl, this is not a creeper on you. This is like a huge, I want to be your best friend. When can we have, when we go for Starbucks or whatever you have in Texas? When can we go?
I am a Starbucks junkie. I got this espresso machine now that I'm pretty sure that my sous chef stole it. I don't know how he got it. He acquired an espresso machine, and now I just fixed it. And there will be Carajillos at my place. I'm like, I'm gonna buy some liquor 43, and I'm gonna set all the shit on fire. I'm so excited.
Oh my God. Well, know that if you ever end up in Vancouver or in Vernon, you have a home. I mean, that sounds crazy, but honestly, I'm not even kidding. I'm a straight shooter. You have a home, you have a place to stay. You're always welcome. Please feel welcome to just know you have somewhere that you can belong, and you're welcome.
If you've never been, have you been to Canada before?
I have not. I have always wanted to go. There's a lot of there's this whole cosplay group, and they're just the Canadians. And I was like, man, I need to. Nobody parties like the Canadians. That's what they say. I think I can out-party the Canadians.
You totally could, for sure. We're pretty weak. Well, okay, that's the wrong word. We're not weak.
Hero.
What are we?
Hero, my darling. That's because you don't drink.
No, I don't know anything.
I do, but so you're not weak, my darling. You just don't drink.
I'm fucking crazy enough. Can you see how beat red I've gotten in the time of our time together?
A little bit, just a little bit.
God.
You're a nice raspberry shade.
Thank you very much. That's my favorite fruit. Which brings me to ask you, we love asking our guests about this, and this is perfect because you're a chef and a foodie. If you could be any kind of juice, what would you be and why?
Oh my gosh, any type of juice? So not my favorite juice. My favorite's grapefruit, but what juice would I be and why? I'm just going back to grapefruit. I would be grapefruit. One, I just fucking love the color. I'm like, it's beautiful. It's full of antioxidants. It's very, very delicious, but also it's very citrusy. It's like you see the grapefruit and you're like, man, that's a big ass orange. What's going on? Then you actually eat it and you're like, whoa, this is not what I expected. And I feel like that's me. You see me and you're like, huh, that's interesting. And then you have a conversation with me and you're like, that's not what I expected.
Yes.
But you'll remember me forever.
Yes, exactly.
I'm a grapefruit. I'm a grapefruit juice.
Oh my God.
You are what I expected in a very pleasant,
Yeah,
like in a beautiful way, like exactly. Yeah, it's wonderful. So if there's something that you want to leave our listeners with, is there anything? I know you can't really, well, we're plugging the show obviously already.
Gave me the go ahead for all the interviews. They're like, go, go, go. Just be careful what you talk about. And I was like,
Right.
thank you.
Right.
I just plug in my YouTube channel. Come on, at Geeks and Grubs on Instagram, Coffee and Concealer on Instagram. And that's it.
Amazing. Really, thank you so much. We would, and again, if you have the time and you want to connect with us again, once everything has been aired and like on TV in the States, we would be absolutely like,
I would love to.
You would?
Yes, absolutely. I love talking to you guys. This is fun.
Oh my God. I'm like
long lost friends.
I'm honestly getting a little bit teary-eyed right now. I'm so I'm so verklempt, which is the other show. Like I'm like so short of breath. I don't have COVID, but I'm so verklempt. Oh my God, thank you so much. Seriously. I'm beside myself like right now.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're
and then working with me when I forgot what time it was.
Oh, no problem. You saved me too. I was like, oh my God, I love this woman so much, but am I going to be able to stay up for this?
No, and it's funny because like complete transparency here. I was lying in bed.
There.
Hero called. No, it's not that it's late. I had a really shit sleep last night. So I was like, just hibernating. And then Hero's like, can you hop on right now? It's like, yeah, okay, I'll just put on a little bit of whatever and let's.
Perfect.
It was perfect. And I was like, thank God that you responded to my direct message as well, because had you not, then we might have not caught that. So that was perfect.
Yes.
Oh,
That was awesome. That was awesome. Mary Lou, thank you from both of us so much. We will definitely keep in touch with you. And if there's anything in the meantime that we can do, just let us know, please.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I will email you a link to this when it goes live in the next couple of days. And and we'll put in the show notes all the links to you. And we wish you luck. Stay safe. Don't go to any massive crowds.
Yeah. I promise I'm not going to go. I haven't bought a ticket or anything. I'm not going.
No. And totally, can I just say, and this is just completely candid, Christina Wilson, if you end up watching this, I love you. Hello from Vancouver. I would love to meet you or at least talk to you. I love you so much. I'm sorry. I had to. I'm sorry. I had to.
No, don't worry about it. She'll see it. I feel like she's always watching me, giving me advice.
She is. That's what you mean. That's authenticity right there. That's what we're about. Supporting people no matter what they're from. Just people who they are.
Love it. I love it. Okay, my darling. You have a lovely evening with your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, he's hanging up all my pictures. He just likes hanging things up.
Amazing. I'd love a friend like that. Or,
right?
Or a husband. Or a husband.
Okay.
All right.
Taking that cracker. I don't know what the fuck's wrong.
I think it's fatigue, darling. I think it's fatigue.
Could be. It could be.
You
Yes.
guys are so cute.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Instagram.
Yes. We'll see you on Instagram.
Yes,
Mwah.
yes, ma'am. Oh, keep it in there.
Bye. Oh, that's sweet. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye, love.